Well, I thought the majority of the snow was coming last night, but apparently I'm wrong. Kitty got a piece of tape stuck to him. Anyways, it snowed. It's snowing as we speak. Good morning. We didn't get as much snow as I thought we would get. It's kind of been puny snowfall this year for us up here in western Pennsylvania. We're south of I-80, so I don't know. We just didn't get a whole lot of snow so far. Which, if I'm gonna have winter, and if I'm... Hi. Okay. If I'm gonna be outside doing winter chores, just give me the snow. Make it fun. I mean, this isn't bad. It's not bad at all. The cold weather is what annoys me more than anything. And yesterday it was cold enough that none of the equipment around the farm wanted to start, and I needed to get a round bale from behind the barn back here the whole way up to the cows out there. And everybody was like, I don't know how you're gonna do that. So I watch Greg Judy on YouTube. I've mentioned him before. He's a fantastic resource when it comes to cattle, grass grazing, regenerative agriculture, and all of that. And he rolls out round bales. He builds his own round bale roller. But he had talked about before. Oh my goodness, where'd that chicken come from? He talked about before he started building them how he used to use like a chain and pull them. It's like a zoo in here. And so I got this great idea that I would take my digging bar and use my hand sledgehammer and hammer it into the center of the round bale. Then I got a chain and I was going to use the quad and I was just going to roll it up there. Well, the quad did work until I got onto a hill with the snow, and we don't have the chains on the tires right now, so it didn't have the traction or the weight to be able to drag it. So I just went and got my truck. When all else fails, you got a farm truck, use it. And I managed to roll that sucker the whole way up there. And a fun fact, when you have a pry bar through the middle of a round bale, it's a lot easier to manipulate and move and turn and get it to where you want to go. Yeah, me and Harley could literally like lift up part of it. And that's a big round bale. Yeah, so I'll put a clip of that in here.
This is working good. Look at that. That's nice. Okay.
So Danny has not yet burst. She's still holding hostages, and I'm not happy about it. Yeah, Harley just got her out for me to... Here, hold on a second. She just got her out for me to fill her ligaments, and if you guys don't know what that is, I'll try to show you here. On either side of the tail, right in... Hold on.
See.
Right in this area right here, there are two ligaments that come down like so, and they could be closer or farther away from the tail dock depending on the animal, and you want to feel for those. And she has them at the top, and they're kind of real squishy and soft. Okay, the squishier and softer they get, the closer you are to delivering, and what happens is the day that they're going to go into labor, those are completely gone. She still has them. They're squishier than ever, but she still has them. Yeah, she's getting a bit sunken in here. These are all things that you can use to tell when your goat's getting close. It's hard to tell because she's so fluffy with her winter coat. She produces a little bit of cashmere, so she always gets real fluffy. And of course, her bag isn't there yet. But look how shiny this winter coat is for a brown goat. Like, she's just glowing, and I really chalk it up to the alfalfa diet and basically unlimited hay, and she is just glowing. So really patiently awaiting these babies. I'm making a guess, a prediction, just because I know my Danny. She's going to give us 2 bucklings. One's going to be a light tan or near white, And the other one's going to be a similar color brown to her, maybe a little bit lighter. And I don't think there's going to be any markings. That's just what they look like. And one of them will probably have the La Mancha ears.
And one of them probably.
And one of them will have regular ears. This is my prediction. Feel free to leave your baby predictions down below. This is her track record for us. She's only ever given us one doeling. And that's Bridget over here.
Bridget's only ever given us doelings.
Bridget's only... No, that's not true, because we had Tiny Tim. And he didn't deserve it.
Well, still. He's
Yeah.
never given us really.
Tiny Tim was was Scotty's twin, and Tiny Tim was born horribly deformed, and we tried to save him, and he was probably the coolest colored goat we ever had too. I mean, he was really uniquely marked. So unfortunate. There is a video back in the archives if you care to be depressed anymore. You can go back and watch it. Yeah, Danny, look at her. Goodness, she's pear-shaped. All right, we're going to get off here and feed the animals before they cause complete anarchy in here. Morning, guys. It is now Sunday. Yesterday, we had a bunch of running around to do, so there was really nothing interesting to show you on the farm. There really isn't today either. Winter is really, wouldn't you just say, like a bunch of the same every day? Yeah, so Danny is ever so close to kidding. I've said that since before December, so take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But she's starting to get a little discharged, so, you know, probably by February, we'll have kids. We're walking up here on the outside of the cow pasture because they've knocked over their one rain collection barrel. Listen, I need to walk this fence, but I don't want to do it in the snow. So you can pull that one out completely if it's not frozen. The fence is on, but it's broken in 99.9 different places. I ain't touching it. It's still going to have something. Some juice. Hold on. I'll get it. Hold on. Got that taken care of. Threatened Moko with sending her to freezer camp. Only because she chases off the boys from the hay. Yeah, we have a crow hanging out at the barn with the chickens and turkeys. I like crows. I think they're pretty cool. You know, you can teach them to like bring you, yeah, bring you trinkets and stuff like that. They're very smart birds. I think they're pretty cool. Oh, he's down there on the gate now. I threw out some kitchen scraps to the birds today, and the crows love that, so he's hanging out down there with them now. All right, I'm going to check and see how much water the holding tank is in it because we haven't had it filled in a long time because it rained and stuff. But we use the holding tank to water the cows, so I just want to make sure that we still are good. I don't see any rain in the forecast. Mostly everything is going to be snow, but it's supposed to melt, but there's not a whole lot of snow on my roof, so yeah. We are good. We are still half full, so that is great. What do you want me to show him?
The good buddy.
Oh, I don't know if I can. He flew down to the tree. Let's see if he comes back, and then I'll show him. So now is full-blown garden planting time, and I do have my work cut out for me. I'm going to put these two, I've decided these two culvert pipe here that I have, I'm going to use them as the gate to my big garden. And I want to re-fence it completely so it's visually appealing. So until I figure out what fence I'm going to use for it, I really haven't done much. I haven't laid down my cardboard. I haven't set up my planters, any of that, because I just want to, thoughtfully plan it out. And I am going to use the kind of trellis system above this, which is going to be pretty, I think. I saw on Amazon, like, you know, when you're scrolling on your social media, that sometimes like things come up as a suggested thing on Amazon or whatever. And one of them was there's a pair of solar lanterns. They're black and kind of like Victorian or Gothic style. And it looks like flames on the inside, but of course it's not. And I was thinking if those would be really, really cool. They're only like $40 for a pair. And I thought those would be a really cool addition to that. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to set it up yet, but I have vision. And I think I'm going to try planting maybe some cucumbers in those and some flowers also, and let them kind of like trellis down. I think that would be really pretty. And I want to do like kind of like a pergola top to it. Something very simple. I almost think I would like to kind of like cut the edges of the wood in a more ornate pattern. I'm gonna have to get a scroll saw, I think, jigsaw. That's just one more tool I get to add to my collection, right? But that's my thoughts for that. And what I would love to do, but is probably going to be outside of my budget, is wrought iron. I would love to do wrought iron. I would love to go find some wrought iron that had been, you know, thrown away kind of, and save it. I don't think that's going to be in the cards, so I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I did see a really cool reel that somebody made, a border fence, and they used cut up firewood, basically just the logs cut into probably 18-inch sections, and they stacked it as you would stack firewood, but in between, just to keep it from rolling off, they put a little bit of spray foam, like a line or two of it, so that the logs didn't move. And I thought, well, that's pretty clever, because I have a lot of logs and a lot of trees. But then I also worry about that inviting in insects. So I'm not entirely sure, I don't want termites in my garden. So I'm not entirely sure if that's a great idea or not. It was really cool looking, and if I had any willow trees around here, I would love to do the old-fashioned woven willow fences, the ones that they've used forever and a day. I think those are so beautiful and whimsical, but I don't have any willows around here. I also don't have any birch on my property. Most of the trees that are here are oak, cherry, and a few maple. I do have some sumac trees. I have those empress trees. That's about it. So let me know if you've ever made a really cool garden fence just foraging with things that you have around. I saw the old dead hedge idea where you just put posts in the ground and you fill it with brush. I think that's really cool. But then again, you're giving a home to things that you might not want in your garden. Or am I giving a home to things I do want in my garden? I don't know. I still have to clean out the high tunnel. I'm not super worried about that, because all the nutrients from the tomato plants are going to go back into the roots and then just leach into the soil over winter. So that's fine. And plus, it's a whole lot easier to take dead tomato plants out of the ground than ones that are done for the season and they're still green. But I probably am just going to cut them off at the ground and let the root system decompose in the soil, because that's just going to add more carbon and nitrogen and good nutrients in there as they decompose. I'm playing around with the idea of what all I'm going to put in there this year too, and I think this is something we can continue this conversation in the house, because now's the time that we're going through our seed catalogs, right? This is the time that we are starting to plan our garden for the year. And in the past, I have tried very hard, with some successes and some failures, to grow nothing but heirloom varieties of things. And what I found is heirlooms are great, but hybrids have a place too. And sometimes I deal with powdery mildew. Sometimes I deal with blossom end rot. Sometimes I deal with a lot of pests. And sometimes your hybrid plants are bred to put up with that. So I have a lot of considerations this year. Of course, as far as my tomatoes go, my tomatoes are my main pet peeve, if you will. I want my heirloom tomatoes because there's nothing like the taste of an heirloom. But I am starting to play around with keeping some heirlooms and growing some hybrids. And this year, I think I'm gonna grow more hybrids than heirlooms. And for those of you that might be new to gardening and you don't understand the difference, heirlooms are a breed that's been around for, I think it's 8 years, 10 years, something like that. So it's not really that old, or longer. So these are plants that you can continue to grow if you planted nothing but that breed and that strain of crop in one area. Then, you know, you're probably going to not have any cross-pollination, and you can continue to grow that same exact variety from the seeds that you keep. That is what an heirloom is. Now, a hybrid is strategically bred for special traits that one has in the other. So basically you're taking pollen out of one flower and you're adding pollen to the other and you're mixing them like that. Okay, so this is a natural process, but it's done strategically. Now, you could grow your own hybrid at home accidentally. So if you plant a bunch of tomatoes right next to one another that are all different breeds, those little bees and butterflies are going to go around and they're going to pollinate things. And if you kept those seeds, you're not going to grow that same hybrid or that same heirloom crop next year. You're going to grow a hybrid of something. So people get a misconception and they think that hybrids are bad. What you don't want is your genetically modified crops. And maybe some of you do want your genetically modified crop. And in the past, it was that the home gardener wasn't able to buy a GMO crop. But last year, I can't remember what the seed company was, but they came out with a GMO tomato that the average person could buy. And it was extremely dark, pigmented, almost black purple. And what it was a tomato that they crossed with a snapdragon flower. And that might be just fine for some of you. I want to stay as far away from that as possible, just because that's not what nature intended a tomato to be genetically, and I don't know the long-term effects eating snapdragons will have on me. So I'm just not going to mess with that. Probably be okay, probably fine. It's not for me. It might be for somebody else, and I won't judge. I mean, if that's what somebody wants to grow, it is a beautiful plant, a beautiful tomato. If that's what somebody wants to grow, that's fine. But I just wanted to clarify, like, that heirlooms, hybrids, and GMOs are totally different things. So I am toying around with the idea of growing. I'm watching this crow. He's so cute. Oh, geez. Anyways, I'm toying around with growing a lot more hybrids this year. I have a lot of things picked out. And, you know, this may be the year of the pumpkin for me. I have tried with great failures in the past of growing different pumpkins. And I'm just not great at it. I have, well, that a lot of it is because we had drought situations and no way to get water. That really damages your pumpkin growing ability. The other thing is we are super susceptible to vine borers and other nasty pests that will just decimate a squash or pumpkin crop. Cucumbers, they go after all of them. So this year I'm going to attack those nasty bugs with all of my might, organically, of course. And I'm going to try crop traps and see if they, you know, the little traps for the bugs. And I'm going to try a whole bunch of different things to see if I can get my pumpkins to grow. But there's a whole lot of varieties that I found that are really great for storage, and they are beautiful. So, you know, you could sell your additional pumpkin plants if your pumpkins if you wanted to, because they are extremely beautiful. But more than anything, pumpkin is a fantastic food for dogs. For us, obviously. For the animals, it's a natural dewormer for my goats and stuff like that. So, you know, I think I'm going to try to grow a whole bunch of pumpkins this year, a whole bunch of different varieties. I'm going to throw everything to the wall and see what sticks. And I don't have a whole ton of room for that, so it's probably just going to be like a few plants of each, because some of these pumpkins do require quite a bit of space. I'm not trying to grow like a giant pumpkin to take to the state fair. I'm just trying to grow some different varieties, some of which are heirlooms, the Mesquite de Provence and the Gailou des Indes. I know I'm saying that wrong. I don't speak French. I'm sorry. I apologize. But it's the one that has the little brown peanut-looking warts all over it. And those are heirlooms that are supposed to have a phenomenal nutty taste. They make beautiful pies and soups and everything like that. But there's some other beautiful varieties that are hybrids, and I've actually seen them when I go to the produce auction up at the Amish. So I'm guessing that they must get some of their seeds. This book that I'm looking through, I'll show you when we go inside, but it's Harris Seeds. And it was the first seed company. And it's the first time I got their catalog. And it was the first time I opened it up and I went, I've seen those. I've seen those. I wanted to buy those. And they always go for so much money. So I was thinking, you know, worst case scenario, and I have too many pumpkins to do anything with, I could always sell them at the produce auction because that's what goes up there anyway. But I think I'll probably hang on to them because a lot of these pumpkins say they store very well. So I'm picking, some don't. And a lot of your jack-o'-lantern style pumpkins don't have the best tasting flesh. But I am trying to specifically look for plants that are both visually striking and taste really good. And some of them also have a third factor of really great seeds. So they'll be like hull-less or nearly hull-less, or the hull on them will be very thin. So these are things that I'm kind of looking at with these pumpkins. And I have to admit, I'm kind of excited. I love pumpkin. I love pumpkin pie. That's probably the kids' favorite pies. And, you know, I think that this will be a fun crop to play with. I could change my mind. I could. But as I grow in gardening, I know it's funny, we're talking about gardens and it's snowy outside, but this is the time you think about it, you know? But as I grow as a gardener, I realize that, number one, I just can't grow all the things here. Some things don't like to grow here, and that's fine. I respect that. I'm no longer going to force them to try to grow here, is what this crow's cracking me up. Anyway, I gotta stay on target, not distracted by the cute little crow. Anyhow, yeah, not everything can grow here. Not everything will grow here. And also, and this is the biggest thing, we don't eat everything that I try to grow here. I've tried to grow eggplants for the past, I don't know how many years, and every year I fail because of dry conditions, and because of those nasty little flea beetles, which you can use DE for, and I do that, and that takes care of them, but then they come back and give it a beating because I didn't have enough water and they didn't grow enough. And this year, you know, having this holding tank here is going to be a massive difference, and it's really going to help me out. But so I don't think that drought will be as big of an issue, hopefully. Knock on wood, guys. I can't keep going through summers like this. But anyways, yeah, so am I going to grow an eggplant this year? I'm stupid. Yes, I am. But I'm not going to grow the same ones that I've been trying to grow. I found a cute little container variety that grows small eggplants. But the thing with the eggplants is we don't go to the grocery store and buy eggplant anyway, so why do I need to grow it? It's something that I'm going to eat, and my kids might try it, and maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't, but I know Jeff won't eat it. And so what's even the point? Because I like it, and that's why I want it. So I'm going to try to grow this cute little patio container variety. I might put it in my green stock, actually, because it's a compact plant. It grows tiny little eggplants, and I think that'll be really, really cute. And also, if it's up off the ground, maybe the flea beetles won't be as much of a problem. So I'm going to experiment with that and see what all I can grow in there. I'm also going to try to grow some different flowers that pests don't like. So I always grow marigolds. In fact, they volunteer here like crazy. It's wild. But there's some other trap crops and repellent crops that I want to try to grow mixed in with all my plants. Basically, these raised beds are going to be packed. And I'm going to do it strategically so that some things trellis, some things go up, and then that's stuffed full with the flowers and things that the pests don't like. So it'll either be beautiful or a complete train wreck and anarchy, but what would you expect from this place? Anyways, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to get out of this winter stuff, and we're going to look at those catalogs. Plus, I got to go get hay today. I have to run for feed today. I went yesterday, but the feed store I went to, of course, didn't have the stuff that I needed, so I'm gonna have to run again today. Yeah, that's my day in a nutshell. Plus, I have doors to hang in the house, little projects that I want to get done. It's always something. Go, 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 right? All right, we'll catch you in the house. We're back in the house now, and this is the Harris Seeds catalog that I was telling you about, and I've been all through it, but we were talking about pumpkins, so these are a bunch of, you know, your jack-o'-lantern style pumpkins that they have here. And of course, those ones really didn't interest me because I'm not trying to market to, you know, people buying jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. But if I was, and in the past I've gotten some of these from the Amish, so I thought I might go ahead and try to grow my own because these stems are like magical. These stems sell the pumpkins. So I'm gonna maybe get a package of those. We'll see. That's maybe. We'll see what happens there. But those stems, I'm telling you, they sell themselves. But this pumpkin, I got these last year, a pallet of these from the Amish. And even though they didn't really sell to people that were looking for, you know, the display for their house, they were really, really pretty. And I fed them to my animals, which they really liked them. But also, like it says up here, they have a strong vine. Let's see. I think I was just looking at these ones because I had them last year and the animals like them. And they say they have a strong stem. So that's important to me around here because I have a lot of, you know, vine borer issues, and that's what they go after is your stems and the vines and whatnot. But I was looking here and look at these. I call these my little goth pumpkins. Aren't they cute? They're literally black. I saw these in person last year, again, up at the produce auction. They were really, really cool. So they are just really beautiful. And they're semi-bush, which I thought was really, really cool. And they're easy to pick. They're quick growing. They're disease resistant. So I like that a lot. But I was looking at the midnight one and maybe this white one and this one. Look at this. Isn't this cool? So these are all edible and they taste like acorn squash, and they're semi-bush, which I think is really, really cool because that's going to be space saving. And if they take the place of an acorn squash, that's one less thing I have to grow, and I can get these guys instead, which are visually, in my opinion, more stimulating than an acorn squash. Then I was looking at pie pumpkins, and obviously like the winter luxury pie is, you know, that's your go-to, and that's an organic one as well. But there's just a lot of really great options, and depending on where you live and what your growing habitat is, like, you know, there's a whole lot of different options, and these are all good for eating. So, and this one I thought was really cool. It's called a naked bear, and what it is the seeds are hull-less inside. So if you like pumpkin seeds, there's an option for a hull-less pumpkin. Look at all these white ones, and this one's so cool with all of its warts. I think they're really beautiful. Here's where I really get excited though, because I like weird and ugly things, but they're also, in my opinion, strikingly beautiful. So I want to try to grow these again. I've tried in the past and failed miserably, but they're supposed to have a delicious flavor, really nutty. But I thought these were really, really pretty. So, you know, I want to grow things that, like these, they're gorgeous. I want to grow things that both taste good, but are also really beautiful so that I can be excited about growing them. So of course I go for the warty one. I thought this was really cool. They're ornamental, but they're also good for, look, preparing gnocchi and ravioli. Well, guess what? My family loves eating that. So this seems like a really good choice, right? Pick things that you think that your family might enjoy. But all these beautiful pumpkins, look at this. And then there's, where's this? The Cinderella pumpkin. I thought was really beautiful. It's good for baking. But just some of these are so cool. Look at this. I thought this one was really cool. They say it looks like a bloodshot eye. So imagine selling that at Halloween. And then of course you come over here and there's your staple Long Island cheese if you like cooking and baking with pumpkins. But there's a whole lot of other ones that are like dusky brown color. So yeah, that's kind of the things I look at when I'm looking to try something new. I'm looking for things that sound like we might enjoy them. You know, so not only could you decorate with this, but it's going to save well. See, it's good for long-term storage, so that's important to me. And it's great for pies, moderately sweet. So I know that's a flavor profile that we'll really, really like. So if you guys are getting ready to order seeds, I hope these are some things that you take into consideration, because it is really important to think about what you are going to use and what you're not going to use. So there's 0 point in me getting an acorn squash packet of seeds and trying to start them and find a place to grow them if I know that I'm trying to grow some pumpkins that are equivalent to that acorn squash. There's 0 purpose for me to get turnips if I know my family isn't going to eat them. You know, there's 0 point in me growing, I don't know, certain things if I know we're just not going to use them. But the pumpkins have a lot of benefits. So I could feed my cattle, my livestock, they're all going to be able to eat that. And also my dogs, I can can it, or freeze it, and the dogs can eat it, which is really important. The price of pet food and quality pet food just continues to go through the roof. So if I can substitute some of that, I will do so. And also, we love pumpkin around here, so it's definitely a win-win. Let me know what you guys are most excited to try growing this year, and let me know what you're not going to grow this year, because maybe you haven't had good luck with it, like me with eggplants, but still growing it. I have a problem. I have a real problem. Anyways, let me know down below. I would love to hear from you guys on that. And with that, I'm going to end up this video because I have to start planning for the next one. I hope you guys are loving the new format. I think it's working out quite good and it's keeping me accountable, which I love. But I got a lot of chores to do, guys, so I got to get off here. I hope you have a great day and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.